Do Finnish women fall in love with foreign men? Well, today we're gonna find out because today we are checking out most Googled questions about Finnish people in Finnish this time, and we have pretty interesting insights about Finns coming up today. So let's go check them right now. What's up, Fantastics? Welcome to a new video. If you're here for the first time, welcome. My name is Aleksi and I make fantastic videos about Finnish culture, lifestyle and language. So if you're into those kind of things, hit that subscribe button and the bell one as well, because you will join our fantastic squad. Okay, let's start. And the search phrase what I used was miksi suomalaiset, and to see what were the auto-completions. The first one was miksi suomalaiset lihovat? Why are Finns getting fat? So in 2017, there was a study conducted by the National Institute for Health and Welfare. The study said, for example, that the amount of overweight men, which means in this case body mass index more than 25, were 72%. So 72% of Finnish men are considered overweight by body mass index, and the same number for women was 68%. So if we believe these numbers, it means that Finns are quite fat in general. That's quite crazy. Obese men, which means body mass index more than 30, was 26%, and for women the same number was 27.5%. So every fourth Finnish person is considered obese, and that's actually quite alarming if we think about that. Every fourth Finn is fat, it's obese, pretty crazy stuff. And the same study concluded also that if the same pace keeps up in 10 years, every third Finn will be obese, and that's pretty crazy stuff right there. But we have to keep in mind that this is measured by body mass index, which is not probably the most accurate way to measure obesity and this kind of stuff, because for example it doesn't really take into account muscles. For example, if you're really bodybuilder guy, you have big muscles also weigh more than fat, so it doesn't really consider these people who are, you know, doing exercising and working out, who are building muscle. So it doesn't really accurate measurement, but this is something that we found out. This was pretty big study back then, so pretty crazy stuff right there. The next one we have is miksi suomalaiset velkaantuvat? Why Finns are getting more debt? And again, this was quite surprising. Not really something that I would consider typical Finnish kind of problem anyways. In Kauppalehti there was this article which said that in 2018 there were 380,000 people who had a record with payment problems. So I'm not sure if this is in other countries, probably is, but in Finland, if you have problems paying your bills, if you have like one bill and you don't pay, they keep sending you these reminders, but if you don't, you eventually get like a record of payment problem, and this can cause you a lot of pain in the ass. Because, for example, if you are renting an apartment, the landlords usually check your payment history and to see if there's any of these payment problems. And if you have, that can be a problem of getting an apartment, because it tells you that you have had problems paying your bills on time in the past. And this is the thing. This is also quite interesting because we Finns don't really talk about money in public or among with friends either. So if some person has problems with, you know, money and financial stuff, it's quite the threshold for Finns to speak about this kind of problem can be really, really high, because we Finns are kind of individualistic and we are taught to, you know, cope with our own. But if we end up these problems, asking for help can be a problem. That's how I feel. Next one. Miksi suomalaiset vihaavat ruotsalaisia? Why do Finns hate Swedes? And this is kind of like a classic question. Why do Finns hate Swedes? Well, first of all, back in the history, we used to belong to Sweden. This has caused many interesting effects even today. For example, Swedish is the official language as we speak in Finland at the moment. So we have to learn Swedish in school, and all the official stuff has to be also in Swedish because it's the official language. And this is quite interesting because I believe quite many Finns don't like Swedish and find it quite almost like a waste of time, because you just learn it in school and after you leave school you don't have to use it and you basically forget everything. And from this perspective I totally agree, because we put a lot of resources, a lot of effort, a lot of time to teach kids Swedish, and then if they just don't do anything with it, it's complete waste of money. I remember when I was still in school, back in the times when we were kids, a lot of the other kids always made jokes about like, Swedes are gay, and you know, Swedes are kind of dumb people and that kind of stuff. But I think nowadays it's a little bit better. We don't really hate officially Swedes, but of course you can always find these people who hate Swedes. In every country there's people who hate some other people. So, but I wouldn't say this is like the general opinion of the country. Swedes are pretty cool people. For example, this dude, if you know him. Next one we have very interesting one. Miksi suomalaiset naiset ovat rumia? Why are Finnish women ugly? And this was very surprising to see this kind of search results among the top ones for this search term. Very crazy. To be honest, I have no idea why this is so searched, because if you ask me, I think Finnish ladies are very beautiful, sexy, and so on. But, well, what do you know? And if we search this term, if you put this on Google and see what kind of results get returned, most of the ones are from these forums where people can discuss anonymously about stuff. When I had a look at this, most of the ones were like bashing and talking shit about Finnish women, like why they are so ugly, they dress like shit and look like eagle's ass and these kind of things. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Well, but you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But I believe that these comments on the internet were written by jealous, unsuccessful, and even incel people who have no success with women whatsoever. And so they just go on internet and vent their frustration to the world by doing that. So I believe that's the problem. But to be honest, Finns are considered somewhat jealous type of people. And if someone is successful, there are always a number of people who find that really irritating because they are doing better than themselves. So this is how I feel. But very interesting. Are Finnish girls ugly or not? Let me know in the comments below. I say not, but let's hear your thoughts also. Alright, next one, very interesting one. Miksi suomalaiset pitävät suuria varallisuuksia nollakorkoisilla tileillä? Why do Finns keep a big amount of wealth on accounts with zero interest? And so what this means that they are keeping big amounts of money on their bank account which has zero interest. So that's kind of like a waste, because you could also invest them or put them in other accounts which has better interest rates so you can actually build your wealth that way. This was very interesting. There was an article from OP, which is one of the banks in Finland, and one of the specialists said that Finnish people have 87 billion euros on zero interest bank accounts, and that's crap load of money. If we think about it, if we just invest them in somewhere, that money could build up quite fast. But the comments on the topic, or the comments on the article, said that Finnish people are not aware, or they just simply don't know enough about investing, so they are just keeping them on their regular bank accounts, which is kind of sad story. I actually mentioned this to one of my friends, and he said he actually has quite a bit of money, and he told that he also does the same. And the reason is because the markets are kind of unstable. So it's more safe to just keep them on your own bank account than investing in some stocks or bonds or whatever. Like I said, we Finns don't really talk about money. So for example, if you have a number of friends, close friends, we don't even talk about money with close friends. And you could, well, not at least most of them, I would believe. So what people could do, they could start, learning about investing on the internet, because you can learn pretty much everything on the internet nowadays. So you could just learn some stuff there and then pass on the information to your friends. But this is not really something that Finnish people do, in my opinion. Next one. Miksi suomalaiset lähtevät siirtolaiseksi? Why did Finns immigrate? Or to put it in other words, why Finns left Finland? Okay, and this pretty much means that why did Finnish people leave Finland for countries like Sweden, Norway, and even America? I looked up some very factual and accurate information on Wikipedia, which said that between the years 1881 and 1914, around 280,000 Finns moved to USA, Canada, and other Nordic countries, and also Russia. So that's actually quite a big number of Finns, isn't it? And some of the reasons were, for example, benefits, free land, freedom for life, and opportunities to get rich. So these were kind of the reasons why Finns wanted to move abroad, and that's why they did that. Back in those days, there were some challenges to get work. So people just left for better opportunities, and they also wanted to, adventure and experience life in other places than just in Finland. Are there any people watching this video who have Finnish descent? Let me know in the comments below. Would be cool to check that one out. Okay, and next one, this is another negative aspect from Finns. Miksi suomalaiset ovat rasisteja? Why are Finns racist? Okay, well, I have already done one live stream about this one. I'll put the link in the description if you want to check that one out. But in my opinion, Finns are more xenophobic than racist. So what this means that xenophobic is they are not really used to hang out with foreigners. And there was another interesting Wikipedia article that the first kind of proper immigrants came to Finland in 1970s, and the bigger immigration waves came in 1980s and 1990s. So it's not actually not that long ago. It hasn't been that long since the first immigrants came to Finland. So the conclusion that we can draw here is that Finns are not used to have foreigners around them for that long. So that could be just simply one reason, that we don't really know when we see like a foreigner, like, oh, like, you know, what's going on, how we should deal with this type of people. So that's might be the case. What I've also heard from my international friends, that you don't really get shouted or shunned in the streets like, oh, you black people, or you should leave Finland. You don't. This is not the type of thing you hear in Finland. But if we have racism, it's more like structural. For example, getting jobs or these kind of things is more like the problem. So I wouldn't say Finns are racist, but it's more like xenophobic. Next one, yet another negative statement. Miksi suomalaiset ovat masentuneita? Why are Finns depressed? Okay, Finns are depressed, they said. All right. So the same study which we referred to in the beginning of this video, the one conducted by the National Institute for Health and Welfare, they also looked into the depression stuff. And yet more kind of sad results we got there. The depression has increased within 6 years quite a bit. The men with significant depression symptoms, the number of those kind of men increased from 6% to 9% within the last 6 years. And the same stuff for women was from 9% to 13%. So that's kind of alarming increase for depressed people. Are Finns really depressed? Looking at these numbers, well, some definitely are, and that's definitely a problem, of course. But yeah, what can you say? And like I said, Finns are not really that type of people who want to show that they are doing badly. And asking for help also is not really the stronger traits for Finnish people. Okay, next one, a little bit more interesting one. Miksi suomalaiset juovat maitoa? Why do Finns drink milk? Alright, so probably if you've been into Finnish stuff, most likely know that we Finns love milk. We drink milk with breakfast, with lunch, with dinner, with evening snacks, with everything. Interesting article from Maito ja Terveys says that 81% of grown-ups drink milk and 66% drink milk daily, so every day. And so that's pretty interesting stuff. We Finns love milk. And why is it that? First of all, it's cheap. A carton of milk costs less than €1, like 80 cents. It's also healthy and it's tasty also. And also, quick point, the milk that we Finns drink, it's not like this whole milk that we get directly from the cow, but it's like semi-skimmed milk. And semi-skimmed milk means that pretty much the fat portion is mostly removed from the milk. So it's not like really fatty and this kind of unhealthy stuff, but it's more like a healthy stuff. So if you're coming to Finland, this is definitely one of the habits you should look into, because we Finns love milk. We drink it pretty much every day. You don't have to do it yourself if you don't want to, but keep an eye on this one. And next, the most interesting one on this one. Miksi suomalaiset naiset ihastuvat ulkomaalaisiin? Why do Finnish women fall in love with foreign men? Or with foreigners in general. And yet, a very interesting generalization. Why do Finnish people search this term? And what I did, I searched this result and looked at some of the articles. And there was one article from Ilta-Sanomat. This is why Finnish women choose a foreign guy. Let me read you out some of the comments from Finnish women related to this one. Foreigners are more open and happier. Getting to know new people is more natural without alcohol. And their exotic looks are also charming. This Finnish cute nose look is kinda lovely, but not really masculine. Okay, very interesting. Another one. Many of them are polite, considerate, with good manners, and mature enough, and with sense of humor. So refreshingly different. Not always a guy who's always stick to their smartphones and smell like booze. Internationality can be also an opportunity and exotic. Maybe a Finnish woman wished that he would be treated with respect, not just an equal salary earner, mom, and responsible for the home. All right, one more. According to my own experience, I can say that I haven't found a Finnish man who would respect a woman as much as a foreigner. Not as open and as romantic. Is this about us women getting attracted to foreign men, or attracted to men who are taking action and express what they are thinking? I believe it's the latter one. Okay, very interesting one. So again, the problem is that Finnish men, they are kind of shy, reserved, and they are not kind of masculine. They are not taking action. They are not being man enough. when it comes to this man-woman dynamics according to this article. Of course there are those type of men as well, but it's not really kind of like a typical thing for Finnish men. And of course we cannot really generalize Finnish men based on just these few comments, but I can understand the pain of Finnish women, and I have heard this kind of complaints before. For Finnish men it seems to be very difficult to be direct, bold, confident and expressing their interest unless they are drunk. So this is the problem for Finnish men. By the way, a quick question for you. Are Finns good in bed? If you want to find out, I've made more videos about these most Googled questions. Check out the video here and make sure to subscribe for more fantastic videos in the future. Thanks for checking this one. See you in the next video. So moro.